Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request from Devon. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in, if you want to request any type of video, it could be a topic, reaction, commentary, review, re-review, commentary, random tier list, ranking, movie news, video game playthrough, what have you. PayPal's usually the best bet. You can also join my Patreon or do have a Cash App. People have asked about those. Links are down in the info box. I'll get to them as soon as I can. And thank you. Really appreciate it. So Devin wanted me to talk about Spooky House, which I guess is a film he enjoyed from back in the day. Sadly, I did not. I know I buried the lead there. Or didn't actually. Just completely unburied it and threw it right up in the air for everyone to see in all its naked glory. Wasn't the worst film I've seen. No. It's definitely a family film that feels... It's not a Nickelodeon film, but it feels in that nature in terms of... It feels like the production value of a TV movie. Maybe this was, and I just found the wrong info. The kids' acting is kind of there. The recognizable people was Ben Kingsley. He's kind of the star of the film. You also have Mercedes Rule. I remember her because she was in the Fisher Team as the girlfriend, wife of Jeff Bridges' character. And she was also in Last Action Hero. I think she played the kids' Danny's mom. I believe that was her in that. And I do like her as an actress, so it's nice to see her in this film. And funny enough, it's directed by a guy named William Sachs. Now, people probably don't know who that is. He was the co-writer and co-director of The Exterminator 2. I believe, and I could be wrong on this, The Exterminator 2, which is a film I grew up with, it's not a great film, but I enjoy for what it is. You know, vigilante, guy uses a flamethrower. I've seen better, but I can enjoy it. It's a nostalgia film. That was a film that got finished, or kind of finished, but then another director was brought in to do additional photography, reshoot some stuff. And that's why you had a co-writer, co-director. And I think it was William Sachs that came in. I can't remember if he was the first or the later director. I want to say he was the later director, but don't quote me on that. I could have that completely wrong. But it's not like there's a whole lot of documentaries on The Exterminator 2. But it's just funny that there's someone involved with The Exterminator 2, a vigilante, again, killing people with flamethrowers, and Mario Van Peebles is your bad guy, also did a little kids film like this. But it is a kids film. And again, it's not a god-awful, but it's something that because I did not grow up with, I don't have any nostalgia for it. Okay, Ben Kingsley, he's an illusionist. He's got this silly mustache, which is a fake mustache in the film. It's for show. Like a blue triangle on his forehead, dressed up for the show. And during the show, he's supposed to make his wife disappear. But what happens is, his wife really does disappear. Then cut to about 11 years later, and he's a guy that lives by himself in the spooky house. Kids stay away from it because they're scared, and they heard all these stories about people getting murdered, and of course none of it really happened, but it's a spooky house. And you're then introduced to these 5 kids. And I don't remember their names. You don't really get a whole lot of backstory except maybe the lead kid. And only because we know he's an orphan. And his character's name is Max. The orphan, Max. The other kids, one is a little overweight kid. One is a black girl. One's an Asian girl. One's a Russian kid, or at least he's trying to sound Russian. So you have the Russian kid, the fat kid, the Asian girl, and the black girl. And then the fifth, you have this orphan. And I didn't really care about these kids. Because, like I said, you don't really know much about them. Like, what I described is all you know about these kids. Even the orphan, other than the fact he's an orphan, I don't know who he's been living with at this time because he's the Debbie Downer where, man, after Halloween, I gotta go to the orphanage. And he'll say lines like, well, at least you have a mother. And like, or when he goes to the house and the kids go, no, why are you going to the house? And the kid goes, because I have nothing to live for anyway. I'm like, kid, you're like 10 years old. I mean, he's like the most emo I get he's an orphan, but I get that. But still, it felt like the most emo 10-year-old I've seen. And before I start, like there's a few times you see special effects that are not so special. Like the first trick Ben Kingsley does is he breaks up into glass pieces, which is a hell of a trick. Also, now that it's 11 years later, he lives in a spooky house with a black jaguar, or I guess you'd call it a panther, whichever way. And all the bad guys, Mercedes Rule is this kind of fortune teller looking villain called Madame Boss. Because she says, don't call me boss, call me Madame Boss. And she has these three teens who she gets to steal stuff for her. Now, one of the three teens is Catherine Isabel, who is in the film Ginger Snaps. She was in Freddy vs. Jason. By then, I think most people remember her from Ginger Snaps, which I don't mind her as an actress. Just interesting to see her here. Because I'm like, is that who the hell I think it is? I gotta tell Stuntman Mark, a friend of mine, because he loves Catherine Isabel. I'm like, have you seen Spooky House? If not, there's Catherine Isabel. And again, like yes, it's a family film, but the cast, I see they really feel like. Do you want to think like that Nickelodeon type of like silly, we're goofy, we have low production value. I don't know how else to put it. And I didn't grow up with those era of kids films. When I grew up with kids films, I was watching the first Ninja Turtles movie, The Goonies, The Sandlot, the Monster Squad, even. Like, those were my kid films, which are very good films on their own. Again, the closest would probably be Saved by the Bell, reruns. But yeah, to get into the plot more before I get into the critique. One of the kids have this little baby, like little goat, teeny tiny goat. The bullies take it because they're dicks. And they gotta find where the goat is, and they think the goat's in the spooky house. So that's where Max goes in. They're like, what are you doing? Because I got nothing else to live for anyway. I'm like, wow. One big bummer of a kid, huh? So they go in, they slip through the window, they fall. You think, you sounds like to their deaths. The Asian girl, she has a laptop, but the laptop like emits this special effect glow that's like a beacon. So bright, Batman will show up because he'll show his signal in the sky. That's how bright this laptop computer shows the light. Like, damn, what kind of computer you have? Part computer, part flashlight, I guess. And they get into the house, and because Ben Kingsley doesn't want people in this house, which I can't blame him. I mean, I don't want people just going in my house either. He has these little things, to steer the kids. So one girl gets steered, her butt falls into a bucket, and then they speed up the camera for some reason. Like, when her butt is stuck in the button, there's like like speeding up the camera, and it just I don't know why they did that, just because. One kid gets stuck in the couch. One gets scared by, I think, like a fake thing coming out of a clock. And then Ben Kingsley shows up and he fakes these zapping beam effects from his fingers. Of course, none of it is real. And Matt figures out quickly it's not real. Goes up, not scared. Goes and finds that there's a hidden stairwell where Ben Kingsley disappeared. Goes down, meets him, confronts him. Ben's like, and then takes his fake mustache off. The kid gets the baby goat. And then a chunk of the film is Max wanting to befriend Ben Kingsley. And Ben Kingsley pretty much keeps telling him to piss off, but Max doesn't get the hint. Trying to bond with Ben Kingsley. Even helps get the tail of the black jaguar, the panther, whose tail somehow is caught in the couch. Even when you look at him, like, I still don't get how the tail's caught in the couch, but it's gotta happen for the movie, so the kid could go in, help it out, get trapped in the couch himself, and then Ben Kingsley comes in, lies down, hears it, and tells him to piss off. Things to note, I guess the end of spoilers. Max had to say, I gotta pee 30 times. Although if I had to pee bad, I probably would say it. Well, I wouldn't say anything. I'd be like, fuck on my face. Or I'm going to piss in your face. Or piss my pants. Oh, there's a bit where he stupidly gets his finger cut. And he gets a Band-Aid. And I swear that the movie takes 25 seconds for him to put on this damn Band-Aid. Kind of like a... Now, believe me, I understand. In real life, it's a pain in the ass to work those Band-Aids because, especially if you wash your hands and they're not quite dry, and then you try and get the Band-Aid, and then you try and get it off, but then that annoying bit with the Band-Aid, one part is like folded in. I'm like, damn it, I didn't want to do that. Like, I'm trying to do it in a hurry because usually Band-Aids, you want to do it in a hurry because you're bleeding. But then you do it in a hurry, but then the top the one end kind of folds in on itself. Then you try to do it together, but then it's not sticky anymore. Or you try to put it under the faucet. You're not dry a little bit, but it's too wet. Or again, it's not sticky enough. So then when you try to put the Band-Aid on, then it won't stick. So then it's just falling off. Then you just got to hold it there. And then you get a second Band-Aid. And then you got to do that a bit slower. Then take that off. Then put that back on. And throw the other Band-Aid away that screwed you over. So I know it can take a while, but I don't, people don't want to watch 25, 30 seconds of me fucking around with a Band-Aid. But for some reason, I just say, hey, we got footage. That's 30 seconds, 25 seconds. Now we only have this much, now we have this much time to fill in. Pretty much you find out with Ben Kingsley that he was an orphan too. When he was with his wife, he didn't want kids. He thinks his wife ran away. Those bullies, they'll steal some stuff. The bullies try to rough up Max. They steal some stuff. I think they steal the goat yet again, and they also steal this little wand that he got from Ben Kingsley's place. The kids go in, try to get that stuff. And Ben Kingsley, who at one point is, you guys leave here, leave me alone, don't ever come here again. I guess after just one conversation about him being an orphan, then all of a sudden when the 5 kids come in, chased by the bullies, now Ben is gung-ho to help, he's fine with helping, he's fine and dandy. And the last third of the film is pretty much messing with the 3 bullies where in ways that I'm like, what? I get it's a kids film, but I'm sitting there going, okay, like one, spoilers. The the overweight one. Oh, by the way, one line that he says is much earlier in the film. You know, walking is hard work. I'm like, really? Have the kid who's overweight say, man, walking is hard work. Oh, because he's fat. Come on. Even for a kid's film, it's like, come on, man. It's just pretty lame. But, okay, what in the house to steer the bullies? The overweight kid puts on a glow-in-the-dark skeleton costume and does a dance routine. I guess because it's dark and it glows in the dark, so I guess the three bullies, they see a skeleton, which I'm looking at, it clearly looks like a guy, in a costume. But he's doing a dance routine. They think it's Thriller or something. The Thriller music video. And these three who are, again, 20s maybe? Late, 18, 19, to whatever. They did steer from this. Then they see one of the kids go into a big pumpkin, and their bright idea is to take something and stab through it. They stab through it. And they all stab through it. And I'm sitting there going, of course, when you open it up, there's no one there because, the person, magic trick, they were able to escape. What if the person, it was actually one of the girls. What if the girl was in there? You'd open up and you see her guts and tits and ass and whatever the hell splayed out inside the pumpkin. So these kids went from bullies to psychopathic murderers that would have had a kill that even Jason Voorhees would blush and go, and Leatherface would go, a bit too much. Michael Myers don't talk, and he would even look at the pumpkin and go, yeah, this shit ain't right. This shit ain't right. Not Mike, but Michael Myers would say that. Again, it's like they didn't think that through where, okay, we're doing this because obviously, we're going to have this reveal that the kid's not in there. But again, it's like, well, these bullies, again, they were ready to murder this kid. Murder it. Murder her. That's a pretty big leap. Ben Kingsley pretends to be Dracula at one point. One of the bullies, because it's Halloween, part of his costume is like a mummy costume. The panther, the black jaguar unravels it, and then the teen flies down the stairs. They get put into rooms, like a swirly room that gets them confused and discombobulated. Then the three bullies kind of rush to a room. They see what looks like Ben. They didn't do the magic tricks, but looks like he's cutting one of the kids in half. One of the other kids, they're stuck in there, but their arms are going weirdly up and down, like there's no way they can. And I'm sitting there going, well, I mean, this is clearly magic tricks. You could clearly see these are magic trick props. But these kids just totally believe in it, all three of them, for some reason. Because they're morons. I guess even Catherine Isabel's character is a complete moron. Just believe in all of it. And then they escape. Well, I mean, one of the least, I forget, like they escape, they get caught, whatever. Because then Mercedes Rule comes in. And then her and Ben Kingsley have a little bit of a back and forth where they both have guns. He gives her a mirror. She takes it and fixes her face. Ben takes the gun and says, well, my gun would be very deadly if you're allergic to flowers. And hits it, and it's a fake flower gun. Then they go a little back and forth, but he's like, well, you know what? Someone taught me I shouldn't fight. And then you find out that when Mercedes got the gun back, Ben had taken all the bullets out. One leads to another. She's done. The cops come. Matt goes to the orphanage. Later, there's a show that Ben has. During the show, he brings Max up and says, I have decided to adopt Max. And then during the magic, I'll give the movie one thing. Well, two things. One, I like Ben Kingsley. I do. I like him as an actor. I've always liked him as an actor. Even in films like this, I still liked his demeanor. I still liked his presence. Again, whether it be in films like Species or that new film I watched, The Killer's Game with Batista. Ben Kingsley was in that. It's always nice to see him. You know, he's Gandhi. He's just a very talented actor. Even in stuff like this, it's nice to see him in there. It's nice to see it wasn't just a glorified cameo. That he was in it a decent amount of running time. So that's one plus. I like Ben Kingsley. Number two, this is definitely a twist I did not see coming because it was so out of left field. The wife was the panther the whole time, the black jaguar the whole time, because they do this magic trick and with the panther and all the kid, and then they open up and the panther doesn't come out, the wife comes out. And then Ben, like, I don't think Ben was given the best direction because he kind of looks and goes, and then kind of hugs her like this. Now you think, okay, this is your wife you haven't seen for 11 years, or at least technically, although she was the panther all along. You think he'd be confused, happy, crying, emotional? He really gives not much reaction other than kind of like that face. And then hug. And then the woman winked at the kid as if she did this on purpose. So you mean to tell me that Ben Kingsley's wife, on purpose, turned into a fucking panther for 11 years, made her husband think she ran off, possibly died, for 11 years, just so he could get the point that maybe one day he will want to have kids because Ben talked about how she wanted to have kids, but he did not. What a bitch. Imagine your wife, like, okay, you don't want kids, but she wants kids. So instead of just being like, okay, let's break up, like normal people, I'm going to think that it even says in one of the news articles that he was brought in for questioning by the cops. What if they thought he did kill her? I mean, there are people who went to jail for less evidence, with the less evidence. What would she have done? Oops, I'll try, manimal. I'm just one of the manimals. Sorry, I turned to a panther just because. And she faked her disappearance for 11 years just to be like, I do want kids. See, we got a kid. And now you have me back, Ben. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, the way she winked and was smiling, that's what it seemed like. Like, she winked at, like, yep, it worked. That was my plan all along. That's what it seemed like with that wink she gave the kid. I'm like, what? What the hell? It doesn't explain. Well, it doesn't explain how the hell did she just turn to a damn panther to begin with. And was she supposed to be Native American? Because the two times we see her, she's dressed in like Native American garb. So is that what's supposed to be the? I don't know. Maybe Devon, you could explain it to me. But it's just, I didn't think the film was that funny. It definitely wasn't that spooky. it's very goofy, it's very childish, it's very, it's fairly silly. The few times you have effects, their, production value is fairly low. I said, maybe if, like I said, if this was Halloween season, it's Nickelodeon. If this was on Nickelodeon or Disney Channel, whatever, and you're with your kid's say 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and it's nothing in it that will be harmful to the kid, then sure, I guess you could see it that way. Or maybe if you just grew up with it, you're nostalgic. I felt that way with movies. But this is a film that gets. Let me see. Well, first I want to double check. A 5.2. So wow, okay, higher than I thought it would be. To each their own. It is just not for me, man. But again, this is coming from a guy who's in his 40s, talking about a kids' film that the movie wasn't meant for me. It wasn't made for me. Okay, Terminator 2, additional scenes directed by. So he directed the additional scenes because Mark Buntsman was the original director. So William Sachs directed the other scenes. Okay. Yeah, here it is. They started shooting in New York and they went so far over budget they moved to LA. They spent double their budget. It was supposed to be 1.5 million. They got 3 million. They shot like 40 minutes. I've been working on the movie in New York as a co-producer, so I brought it to LA and I had to ship the garbage truck from New York because the ones in New York are metal and the ones in LA are fiberglass. We got permission. We have scenes where the truck goes around the corner of one street in New York and the others in LA. We threw garbage in the streets. And yeah, there were reshoots. Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm talking about Exterminator 2. This isn't a review of Exterminator 2. I'm sorry. So let me stop on that. So, but anyway, Spooky House. I guess if you're a diehard Ben Kingsley fan or it's the Halloween season and you want to see a kids film, it's just not for me. Just wasn't for me. It also has like these songs in it that also felt like a TV, like a kiddie TV movie quality of these songs. Especially when we see Ben Kingsley 11 years later walking with his panther, with his black jaguar, and it's like the spooky house theme song. It's just not my cup of tea. But that said, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye for now.